Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Merlin. Last time on Merlin, we had the Crystal Cave. So Merlin found the Crystal Cave, of which all crystals come from. Go figure. And he saw another vision of the future, showing a possible murder attempt by Morgana to kill Uther. And so he tried to prevent it, but kind of gravely injured Morgana, and then saved her, and then she tried to kill Uther again after it was revealed that Uther is actually her father, but Merlin was still able to save him. But there are some things that Merlin saw in his vision that have not come to pass yet. Specifically, Morgana on the throne of Camelot, as she now has a legitimate claim, I guess, technically. Yeah. That's kinda it, really. Yeah. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Merlin, it is unfortunately not in this video due to copyright issues that I've had in the past. So, what you gotta do is head down in the description or to the pinned comment on this video, and there will be a link there. You go and you click that, and it will take you to my reaction highlight, where the footage is in the corner. It's all edited and nice and good, and you can watch that. You can hopefully have a good time. When you're done with that, you can pop right back over here for the discussion. So, with that all being said, we might as well head into this episode of Merlin. Here we go. Okay, good episode. Definitely interesting that the whole thing. I like how they handled Elena. Which, by the way, how do you spell Elena? Oh, I actually got it! Hooray! I like that the whole thing with Elena is just that, like her sort of unpleasant qualities, her unpleasant traits, are honestly more just the fact that there was a she inside her. And once that came out, it's like, all right, well, now she's good, She was actually a really, lovely person, actually. And I really did like that. It's like, honestly, like, okay, yeah, those traits at the beginning were not good, but it's like, yeah, once you get rid of that and it's just, her lovely personality, it's like, she would be such a great person to marry, actually. Like, she is a wonderful, lovely young woman, but just not right for Arthur. Just not right. Oy. So that was interesting. I did like that. And is this the first time we've really seen, is this the first time we've really had sort of this, a marriage story like this for Arthur? I guess it must be. I mean, he did want to marry, what was her name? A few episodes back. There was, I guess that was last season, but there was the one girl that, they both got enchanted, to marry each other. So, yeah, but still, this was the first time where it's like, okay, it's a forced, it's an arranged marriage, basically. So yeah, interesting storyline. I did like it. See, at first I was worried, when she was, farting and tripping all over the place, like, shit, it's gonna be another fucking goofy episode. And it's like, well, no, not really. They did, like, they didn't do that as much as I feared that they would. Luckily, Luckily, they didn't do it as much as I kind of feared that they would, so that's really good. So yeah, let's see. The first thing I wrote down was Elena and marriage. So yeah, this was a story where Arthur was going to have an arranged marriage, which it's interesting that it's only now that this sort of story is happening, that, oh, well, Uther set up a marriage, this is the first time that we've really seen that for Arthur, which is interesting. And also just the fact that, this is back, this is now when he does have feelings for Gwen. It's not like in season 1 where, he really didn't have anything yet. Like, now we are in the thick of things where, they are clearly in love with each other, So, yeah, and that is interesting. And I do like that, honestly, Elena is, she's a good girl, honestly. It was, and even, like, before they got the she out of her, like, no, she was a lovely person, just, had some, quirks that made her not compatible, basically, with Arthur. Also, I sort of mentioned this in the reaction, but when I mentioned at one point, because I was, it ran through my head again, the thought of, well, why don't you just, marry her and have Gwen as your side chick, It's like, yeah, why not? Just have her as, just have Gwen as your side chick that you bang on the side. But, with what you guys have said, like, oh, well, there's no condoms, so you can't, if you have a kid, they could cause some problems. And yes, that is true. Illegitimate offspring could cause some problems. And actually now, I realized it would cause more problems on this show, because in this world, even if you're not technically a legitimate child, like, if you're not, like, even though, like, even if, like, okay, if it was King Arthur and Queen Elena, but the child was the offspring of King Arthur and his side chick Guinevere. That sounds so bad, saying, oh, just have her as a side chick. Like, that just sounds so, like, demeaning. But anyway, the problem is that in this universe, if you are, like, say, the son of the king and his mistress, basically, as opposed to son of the king and queen, you still have a legitimate claim to the throne, because that's what Morgana has. They established last episode Morgana does have a legitimate claim to the throne, despite only being the daughter of the king. She is the daughter of the king and someone else, whereas Arthur is the son of the king and queen. So that's the thing, but she still has, like, okay, that's the thing. This isn't Game of Thrones where that wouldn't happen, That doesn't fly in Game of Thrones. If you're only one, if it's only one, it doesn't count, Bastards don't count. So Morgana wouldn't count, and even any kids that Arthur and Gwen could have on the side, they wouldn't count. But now, in this show, they do count. So I just realized that in the middle of this episode. It's like, crap, they just cannot bang on the side. I just want them to do it. Just once, at least. See, we're going to get through all of this, and they're going to finally get married, and then they're just going to bang for real. So, I don't know. We had the reintroduction of the fairies in this episode, which was pretty cool. Which we haven't had them since I'm pretty sure the Gates of Avalon back in season 1. I don't think we've really had them since then. No, and that's where they were introduced, was the two of them were, I'm pretty sure the two of them in the Gates of Avalon were she, but they took on human form. I think it's that. So yeah, we got the reintroduction of them, which was interesting. They didn't have the greatest plan. I'm not even sure, like, what the plan really was. So they put a she inside of Elena, which really only caused her to stumble around and have some sort of weird traits, like, the farting and burping and just not being the most elegant of women, I suppose. Just sort of being, I don't know, a bit more of a slob, technically. But not even, like, too much, which was interesting. But it's like, okay, they want her to be queen so that there will be a she-queen of Camelot. But if she doesn't know that the she is in her, like, was the she going to take over? Was that it? Was the she going to, like, take over her body once she became queen? I don't know how that works, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys can Maybe you guys can help me out on that in the comments. But I didn't quite understand their plan for that. Like, it wasn't sort of like in Gates of Avalon where it's like, oh, well, they need to... Well, I guess in that it was different. They were sacrificing Arthur just because they needed to get back into Avalon. I don't know. So the plan wasn't the best thought out, but it worked out all the same. And then I wrote down the pixie. So, what was her name? I thought it was Brunhilde, but I thought they said something different. It was Grunhilde. That was it. All right. So Grunhilde was a pixie, which was interesting. A servant of the Sidhe. I thought that was interesting. Now, this actress, I believe... Yeah, she is in Harry Potter. Okay. I thought I recognized her. Oh, God, she's in Romeo... Wait, Romeo plus Juliet. Which one is that? Okay, Romeo plus Juliet is the fucking shitty fucking modern day one where they fucking blow up a gas station and shit. By the way, I hate almost all of Romeo and Juliet, but that one is particularly shit. Not the point. I mean, whatever. If you not to get on a tangent, if you like Romeo and Juliet, what the fuck ever, that's your fucking preference. But I've never cared for it. I always thought it was boring. So, anywho, so yeah, I thought that actress looked familiar. I thought she was in Harry Potter, and I was right. So yay. But yeah, so she was a pixie, which was interesting. I like the sort of distinction there. She wasn't just some different she. It's like, well, no, she's specifically a fairy. No, a pixie, excuse me. She was specifically a pixie, which I did like. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I wrote down trying, because I did like that, it wasn't that, well, Elena is kind of a slob, but whatever, she's just gonna be that way, who cares? And it's like, no, she is trying. She is making an attempt to be, a good bride and, wife to Arthur. It's just difficult for her, It does go against sort of her nature to do so. But she was trying, and I did appreciate that. I wrote down Gaius. Gaius, that was funny, that what they did with Gaius. So, for Gaius, it was basically, this pixie had the hots for him, and so I thought that was funny. That first scene, though, when she, gets on the bed and she's like, why don't we make some perfume of our own? It's like, oh, don't say it like that. I don't know a better way to say that, but God, that was gross. When she said, let's make some perfume of our own. Ugh, don't. No. Ugh. So, and then the whole thing with having to use Gaius to distract her, I thought that was kind of funny. So yeah, that was good. Gave him something else to do this episode, something different. Let's see. Changeling, I wrote that down. So that is when you are a human possessed by a Sidhe, basically. I guess that was interesting. And then they did get the Sidhe out of her, which was cool. I actually like Merlin bringing back the staff, which he got in in the Gates of Avalon when we had the Sidhe. So that was interesting. Bringing back his staff and blowing people up again. It's Merlin's signature move. It's Merlin's signature move to blow people up. He blew up the one Sidhe. Wasn't that the king of the Sidhe as well? And he blew him up. Kind of easily too. Blew him up, blew up Grunhilde, and then blew up the Sidhe that was inside of Elena. So that was pretty good. I did like that. Merlin the murderer. He's a ninja murderer. That is what we have established about Merlin on this show. So yeah. I wrote down Gwen. Gwen, okay, first off, Morgana, noticing the whole thing between Arthur and Gwen. I thought that was funny. They kept playing not really sinister, but sort of the music they were playing when she was talking to Gwen, it's like, is she trying to use this to her evil advantage because she's evil? It's like, what the hell is she gonna do with this information, you know? And she didn't do anything with it, you know? Maybe that'll come back in a future episode, but it's like, are you just giving her this music because she's Morgana and she's evil now? So, I don't know. But I thought that was funny. It was nice, you know, just having a little bit of... It was kind of like having the old Morgana back for a little bit, you know? So, that was kind of nice. I did like that. And I like, you know, just the fact that she almost immediately saw the looks, you know, that Arthur and Gwen were giving each other. So... Oh, and just every time she would just sort of, you know, give a stare to the camera. It's, oh, damn. It's like, I hate that she's evil, but goddamn, like every time she shoots an evil glare, it's so hot. Oh, God. It always gets me. So, yeah. So I did like all the stuff with Gwen in this episode. It was really good. Wrote down love, you know, the whole thing of, they don't want to marry because they're not in love with each other. I like that it was kind of both of them, you know? It was a mutual, like, yeah, we're not doing this. We can't do this. So, but they certainly took their time to do it, you know? Because we had the wedding. And it's like only at the last second did Arthur be like, wait, no, we can't do this. And then Elena was like, yeah, you're right. Like, they were both, like, going along with it, and it's like, someone needs to stop this. So, and at first I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, is he about to confess his feelings for Gwen? And it was like, that's really going to piss Uther off. But nope, not doing that right now. Maybe some... I honestly wonder, like, are we going to get a moment where he does confess his feelings for Gwen, like, while Uther is still alive? I don't even know if Uther dies in this show or not, you know. Are we ever going to get King Arthur and Queen Guinevere? I don't know if the show's ever going to get to that point, so who knows. So yeah. So that was all interesting, and I do like that it was all like mutual and, you know, amicable. And even the one guy, what was his name? Lord Godwin. Yeah. Even Lord Godwin was okay with it. So he was like, all right, I guess you're right. So that worked out. But yeah, that's pretty much that. That is pretty much all I wrote down. Again, good episode. Really enjoyed it. And I am excited to get into the next one. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Merlin reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.